True underdog. Unleash the power within.
Build a movement, baby.
True underdog. Unleash the power within.
Jayson Waller here, true underdog, unleash the power within. Myself here with my co-host, John LeBlanc. We're going to cover several different things on COVID-19, how to run a business, add a little bit more of my background and story that we're going to share today. So more of a one-on-one fire drill with John LeBlanc. How you doing, John?
Doing great today. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Friday here in Michigan, cloudy, overcast, kind of humid, just odd, just an odd day.
You know, I love Fridays. I was working out, even though we have COVID and everyone's social distancing. I'm cheating a little bit. I was at Kevin's house this morning. I've drove down on Easter to North Carolina. So for the listeners and viewers out there, I have a house in Michigan and a house in North Carolina. And so I drove to North Carolina on Easter and been here since. I'm very grateful I did. You know, I feel bad for the folks in Michigan because I don't know, you're there. It's gray. It's cold. My old man always says May in Michigan means it may snow, it may rain, or it may be sunny, right?
That's true. It did snow in Michigan. It snowed.
Yeah, in May. So I've been blessed to not have that issue. But this morning I told Kevin, dude, I love Fridays. And he's like, why? And I said, because it's the end of the week and you punch it in the face, man. You finish strong. It's the fourth quarter of the game. Like, I'm ready to go and finish strong and not half-ass do anything and be ready. And then I also love Mondays because you're starting fresh. You know, the days I struggle with are Tuesday through Thursday because you're in the middle of the grind. But Friday I'm excited because I want to end strong, and Monday I'm excited because I want to start strong. So I get jacked up. Fridays are always my favorite days.
Fridays are awesome. I like Mondays too. I like getting back into routine. The weekend throws you off. It's nice to unwind a little bit, but routine is nice. Routine is nice. So when you have that,
I've been unwinding using this virtual reality game like Oculus, and I've been playing poker online.
I saw you on that. What was that?
Oh my, it's crazy. So you can literally play online with people across the world. You could play any game. They've got National Geographic. They've got boxing. I did the boxing one first. My son's like, and this is bad, but I came downstairs. It's 11:30, like Tuesday or Wednesday night. And I've been trying to do this intermittent fasting. I suck at it. And
Dude,
so
this is
dude, I'm just telling you, man. I try.
do it.
Like, it's a couple days a week I do good, and a couple days I don't. It's not an everyday lifestyle for me. I got to mix it up. My body needs change. Okay?
Yeah.
So today's is brought. I don't even know what the hell this is. It's thermo, right?
Yeah, I saw you eating donuts in the sales meeting earlier today.
Not judge me. So I go downstairs. It's 10:30 or 11. I take some. They have these little thin white vanilla cakes with some icing on it. I'm like, damn, that looks good. And it's like 10:30 or 11. I'm like, screw it. I eat one. One's not enough. I eat two. I'm like, oh my goodness. I go to eat the third. My daughter's like, no, let me have one. I let her have it. My son goes, he's over there, Dad, check out this game. It's so sick with this VR. And I'm like, I don't feel like it, dude. My tummy's like real full. You know when you eat cake or bread and it's right there under your chest, but at the top of your stomach, it's like sitting and it's heavy and it hurts? That's the feeling. I had like a rock right there. Like, nah, man, I can't do this. Like, no, it's boxing. I'm like, oh, no, I can't do it. He's like, no, come on. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. So I put the mask on. And it's like I'm really there. I've never seen anything like it. I walk in and I look at my hands and I have, you know, you pick your character. I'm Rocky. I have Rocky's hands. In my fingers, everything is – it's as real as it gets. I'm looking at the ring. I can see the sweat on my hand. I see that. I mean, everybody is real. And I'm like, am I online? He's like, yeah. All of a sudden, this redheaded guy, kind of reminds me of you, John, because you're a ginger. No offense to the gingers out there. Yeah, comes in. He's like 6'4". I'm like 5'11". Comes in and he's like, I'm going to beat you. I'm like, what? And he puts they're like, get ready to box. I'm asking my son, like, what do I do? And he's like, you got to get ready to box. You got to put your gloves together. So I'm online getting ready to fight this guy.
Yeah, so you got mask on and like glove things?
And
like-
handles. You've got handles, kind of like the Wii. So I'm like, I hope I can figure this out. So I get in there. He's a bigger dude. And I get in there and we hit gloves and he's talking as he's coming. And I put my guard up and he's like, and every time
this is a real person on the other side.
Yes. Nuts. Oh, this is crazy. The world we live in. Virtual reality.
Can you pick your height and your size and all that stuff?
Maybe. I mean, I think I took Rocky. So I was Rocky.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was 5'11" or whatever he is and 215. which is about me now anyways, right? Give or take. So just not as
not
buff. Yeah, just not Rocky. And this guy was huge. He was like the Russian, but he had, the reason I say, you know, he had like red long hair and a red goatee, and he looked mean. And he's like talking shit. I'm like, I don't know this person. He's talking shit. And he's like, I'm going to beat you. And I'm like, all right, this kid or this adult just pissed me off. I don't know him, but I'm ready to whip somebody's ass. So I get my fake hands up, and he comes swinging. And you know, you can't feel nothing, but I'm dodging, and I could see me dodging. And every time he opened up, I was like, tat, tat, tat. And boom, boom. I knocked his ass out in a minute, 32 seconds. But it gets better. I swung so many times, so hard, so fast. Every time he swung, I tried to counter, because everything's about counter punching. I knocked him out. Immediately when I saw he wouldn't get up and they TKO'd, I took the mask off. I fell down on the ground. I was hyperventilating, breathing. I felt like I was dying for 20 minutes. My son's like, are you okay? I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And my daughter's like, that's a great workout, huh? I'm like, dude, I ate cake and I'm swinging and I'm going to die. And I go upstairs. I'm still having a problem breathing. My wife's like, you all right? I'm like, I can't breathe. She's like, you're out of shape. I'm like, no, I ate cake. And I was swinging for a minute and 32 seconds straight. Like, you try hitting something hard, not like I'm not speed bagging it. I'm hitting for a minute, 32 seconds straight. I'm dying. Then the next day I get up, I go to Kevin's to work out. I go to do back. I'm like, ow. And I'm like, what's wrong, man? I go, damn it. Throwing all those punches yesterday, whipping that kid's ass. Hurt myself, man.
It's different, though. It's different when you have, like, you can do something for a minute or 90 seconds in the gym, and even at high intensity. But when you have someone coming at you that wants to kick your ass, your heart rate is at a new level. And that's exhausting. I thought I was in shape until I boxed with one of the members at my gym a while ago. And we just put the gloves on. I had helmet gear and all that stuff. He had nothing on, and he's just coming at me. I don't even know if I threw many punches, but I was tired after like 2 or 3 minutes. Like, I didn't even go all out. And it was just from him. Like, it's just him thinking, or me thinking, that he's about to hit me, kick my ass.
I'm telling you what, dude. I mean, look, my damage was kind of low. I mean, he was throwing blows too, but I was just waiting. And after he swung, I was countering. I mean, it's a video game, but I was out of breath. And my daughter's got video. I mean, I look like a retard. I've got the stuff on. I'm swinging bad. I'm falling down. I look really bad, man. It's a bad mix. It's a bad look for me as a unit and in the group. But I tell you what, I won, right? And even though I couldn't breathe after like 25 seconds of this, I kept going until I knocked his ass out.
We've got to have video of that, right? Your daughter's got to have some video.
She's got the last 10 seconds
and mix it in the pod here.
There you go. Or you know, in the TikToks, we've got our TikTok game up. You know.
That's right. Well, hey, look, I don't know what the deal is with Michigan. You know, we keep getting extended, pushed back. Things are going on. It's an odd time. Everybody knows it. But here's the cool thing. There's some positive with this time that we're all going through right now, and you know, there are some things that are booming and picking up. So I really want to get into some stuff with you being a business owner, knowing what you know now, your experience, all that stuff. I got a couple different questions for you. Jayson Waller, young kid, maybe let's call it no financial backing, no money, right? But you're entrepreneurial, you want to start a business. What are you attacking right now? If you want to start a business at a young age right now, knowing what you know now, where are you going?
With the COVID, right? With that experience.
With what's going on right now. We got a lot of people out there laid off, on furlough, that are just graduating, maybe just got out of school. They have time and maybe not a whole lot of resources. What are you doing? Where do they go?
Well, I think any kind of online business makes sense, obviously, because the world we live in, they can't shut down they could, but the computers, the internet's up, right? So, you know, I'm a big believer. If you open a business and you need to depend on customers to come to your place of business, that is a hard business to run because you're at the mercy of somebody coming to you and giving you money. I always like to be more control to where we offer a service, we come to you. and therefore it's on us to get there, right? Online, similar to that. Every business I've, opened and ran, it's been a, in-home sales type business. I don't like storefronts because I have to depend on someone to come in, and usually they lose its lust and they go down, my opinion. With online sales, it's kind of like being in the in-home sales because you're on everyone's computer or laptop or phone, and you can market to the unlimited masses. And depending on what my skill set is, I mean, obviously everyone can use masks, but I've seen a cool ass, different kind. I even bought some on Amazon, these cool masks that are just like awesome American flag ones, military ones, football ones, whatever, where you can make it kind of a style if that's going to be the future. And I think that's going to be part of our future. I think also, different sanitizing wipes and or chemicals. I know a lot of people are doing that, but I would want to do that. My old man bought a bunch of, these wipes that are aloe wipes. I'm looking at them now. And then he bought a ton of alcohol, and whoo, they're strong. And he pours them in there, and they're great. We've got, 10, 15 bags of those to for our family and stuff. And here at work, I think there's an opportunity for that. I think, I'm a positive person, so I think we're going to be okay. I think it's going to be tough. I think real estate's tough right now. I think business real estate's really going to hurt because they're going to find out more people can work from home. So if I'm really technologically smart and I can write code or build programs or apps, I'm looking for more online apps like the Zooms, like what we're on now, things like that to make people efficient from home, proposal softwares for companies to be able to propose businesses, from a remote location. I would be looking at things like that and, leveraging a product that people can utilize every day. There's things that, when you open a restaurant, I've always secretly thought it would be cool to own a bar, sports bar, restaurant, but I've never gone that route because to me, eventually they close, right? You only have your clients in an area, so you're stuck to a small demographic. You got to have great food, and if they don't like your kind of food, now your percentages go small. It's just there's too many restrictions for growth, and I think with the opportunity of if you find a product where everybody can use it, like we're in solar, right? Everybody uses power, right? Or generator, whatever, or a cell phone, whatever your business is, or a mask. When you get that, then your pond of customers becomes a lot larger to fish in. And I think the larger the pond, the better, and I think a lot of these clothing designers and companies are going to make a big comeback.
I think so, huh?
I think so, because I think that people aren't going to want to go to department stores as much. There's going to be a lot of boutique, smaller spots that people are online offer them. I mean, I would get into that. I could rally and see that being very well. I mean, yes, you can go online and buy from Nordstrom and Saks and all that, but just as much as Nordstrom and Saks online, you can have John and Jason's swimming wear, right? Or whatever. And it can pop up on an ad just next to Nordstrom. And, I'm going to buy this. So you have a better opportunity to be successful like that because they're not driving by to a mall and seeing a big location.
It's really easy just to scroll, click, and buy right now.
Yes.
At home.
So he's shipping. If you can get into a shipping company, everyone likes the normal, the big 2 or 3, but I mean, there's a lot of smaller shipping companies that do things that are out there. And, who's to say you can't be the next Amazon type company and create a warehouse to put everything together and ship for? I mean, all that's still going to be out there. Amazon just can't be the only one. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. I think with electric cars coming, there's going to be a lot of opportunity of different kinds of battery technology. Just, it's going to be very technical as we go through.
How does someone start? You started a business. Like, this is what I always think about, right? I'm not an entrepreneur, right? I've kind of worked my way through the corporate world, found myself in Power Home now, and just enjoy working with the great minds and the team that we have here. Dude, like, when you started your business, like day one, what do you do? Like, how do you just, all right, I want to start a business? Like, where do you go from there? Like, what
you got to plan, right? You got to plan. And usually, back then I had a spreadsheet of what this would look like, right? So with home security, I'd, use an Excel spreadsheet, and I go, okay, if I get paid $1,500 a contract, I'm using vague numbers here, right? So some people be like, oh, you get paid more. Some people, oh, you get paid less. And some customers might be like, damn, that's what you get paid for it. So I'm using a fake number here.
Right.
So for easy math, if it's $1,500 a contract and it's a 5-year agreement at $40 a month, right? So, because usually a company like an ADT or Monotronics or Guardian or whomever, these monitoring companies, this is the industry I started in, they'll buy it at a multiple. So whatever your dollar rate is, they'll buy that at a multiple because they know that even though you might have sold a 3 or 5 year contract, that 80 or 90% of customers will stay on for forever. They're not going to change. You only get a certain percentage that flip flops. So they're buying into that contract knowing they're going to get the back end of profitability. It's like buying loans, right? They're buying paper. So I'd put whatever that dollar value is. We'll use $1,500 for easy math. Well, if it cost me $500 for equipment and it cost me $500 for commission and it cost me $250 to market, then I profited $250 each deal. This is an example. So I'm like, okay, well, if I've got to make $1,000 a week, I need to get 4 deals a week. How do I do that? And then you just scale it. So you start small and then you make it a little bigger. And then, so I have, okay, if I do 1 a week, this is what I make. If I do 4 a week, this is what I make. If I do 10 a week, this is what I make. If I do 20 a week, I'm going to need more managers and I'm going to lose this, this, and this, but I'm going to make this. And you just keep doing that as you grow. And you do that with almost any business. So my first thing is you put it on a sheet so it makes financial sense. So you have a map of where you've got to get to make what. Second thing is you've got to be disciplined to know you're not going to get there. It doesn't happen overnight. You're going to go, shoot, I did 4 and I didn't make anything. No, you didn't. But you reinvest in the business because now you got to get a car. Now you got to get a commercial, or now you got to hire this employer. Now you need someone to do your taxes, whatever it is. You have the fund. You keep growing. You have to be able to be disciplined. A lot of people think overnight they open a company and they're automatically rich. And, I left a company making really good money at Verizon Wireless, and I was making about 120 grand a year. And I was 20.
You were young.
Yeah, 21 to 24.
That's a lot of money when you're that young.
From 01 to 04, 05. Yeah, that's a lot of money back then. And my wife asked to stay home. And I said, okay. And we had our second child, Mackenzie. And I was working my ass off. And it got really tight because, I was on a salary plus commission. And so what that means is I get a fixed pay and then I have buckets I've got to hit. And then, I had great months and I had bad months. And you've got to be able to understand when you're in sales or commission that you've got to do an average. You can't, if you have a badass month or quarter, you can't live like you're going to have that every month because you're going to put yourself in financial problems. And if you have a really, really bad one, then that's where I always was. I assumed I would always have bad. So if I got extra, it was like, hey, right? It wasn't the other way around, right? I didn't assume I'd get great. And it's like, oh, I ain't got nothing. Oh, my. So I would plan for the worst and hope for the best, right? So if I plan for the worst and I build my life and my expenses around that, then it was almost bulletproof. And when I did that at Verizon, and, there would be certain quarters where, months I knew were just going to be bad. Right. And back then it was kind of seasonal, and I drove limos at night on the weekends, right, to make extra money. Wife didn't work, and we had 2 cars and a house, and, I drove limos. And so I would, work Verizon, then I drive limos. And I did that for a while,
So
4 or 5 months. Huh?
Where's your with working Verizon full time, doing limos? How did you even think to start a business? Like, where's that even fit in?
Well, I did the limos for a few months and stacked some cash, right? I built a small little reserve because I knew I wanted to do something bigger. But my goal was to really stay with Verizon. I mean, my dad was a corporate dude. I would say blue collar. He worked for big corporations, but he's blue collar. He's never been like management. He was more just grinding and working, and that's what he was. But he worked for AT&T and retired there. And so I saw him do that, and I was always like, I want more than that. He had an opportunity to do something and he didn't. He stayed on. I wanted more, but it's hard to say. It's easy to say I want more, but it's hard to do more, right? You can to take that step, to take that leap. You've got to have, you got to have a set, and you got to be ready, right? And it takes, you can't just do it overnight. You got to prepare. And so when I was working Verizon, when I wouldn't get promoted, I would be frustrated. I wouldn't be negative. I wouldn't be a hater. I wouldn't complain. I still did my job. I busted my ass. I wanted to be number one. I'm competitive. But it
Dude,
would
I would have a hard time believing you didn't get pissed off.
Well, I did. No, I did get bothered, but I wouldn't show that. I wouldn't go in and be like, I wasn't that way. I don't make excuses. And and I was trying, what is it? Whatever it was. And I was like, I got to do something else. And so, I knew I wanted to do something, and I reached out to my business partner, Kevin, and he was in Arizona doing home security, which we sold telemarketing back in our senior year for a little bit. And I was like, that's interesting. And we were making around the same money, and he was running his own small business with maybe like 8 employees out of his bedroom. So we talked about it, and I said, look, I'd like to do something more. Or addition to what I'm doing, right? Nothing's ever good enough for me. I want to keep stacking, right? So he's like, all right. So we talked about it, and I saw everything he did good, and I saw everything he did bad. And I was like, dude, I could do this and take it to the next level easily. So we talked about doing something together. So, we both were similar with home security. He was running out of his home. Kevin's he's one of the best marketing and salespeople I've ever met on my planet, but he's not a good manager. He's not a great entrepreneur. He's more of, he needs a right hand dude, right? Like we fit really well together. But when it comes to marketing systematics and ideas, he's ingenious. I mean, he had the ingenious idea of, free home security system with a garage door opener, free home security system with a direct TV for a year, whatever it is. He always has those catchy buy now deals that he would come up with that were ingenious, right? But when it came to managing money or managing operations or growing or scaling or running the organization, he struggled. And I was pretty good at that. We both were great sales guys, but we had our strengths and weaknesses. So we talked about partnering together. We did, but that last 3 months, he had some bad times happen. He wanted to get into, he was running out of his house. I opened up while I was at Verizon. Kevin was supposed to have some money. We opened up. He didn't have it. So my little bit of 401k I had at Verizon and the little nuggets I stacked from driving limos, I had to utilize all that to open. And I didn't know I was going to utilize all that. I thought me and Kevin were going to be partners and he was going to come to the table with money. That didn't happen. And so I had to do it on my own.
You're opening this security business now
so this is 05, beginning of 05. Kevin's been doing it for like 2 years out of his house in Arizona. And, he's doing it with his wife, and he's got like somewhere between 5 and 8 employees. That's right out of his master bedroom, right? An office in the house. And I saw everything he did great. Marketing, our sales guys, I saw everything he did bad. I mean, it was a shit show. And I told him, I was like, dude, we can take this to the next level, but we got to change some things. And I think he was excited about that, but he was in a different spot in his life. And he had some bumps, some dark moments. And when he did, when we opened and I came up with the money because he couldn't, and I opened up North Carolina, we weren't sharing profits at the time. I wasn't getting paid. I was still working Verizon during the day, and I would go run appointments at night. You got to be able, when you open a business, you've got to be able to set yourself up for steps to get there. It doesn't happen overnight. I can't go, I'm quitting this and I'm all in, let's go. That's failure, okay? It's got to be steps, right? No elevator. I say it all the time. You got to take, all right, I'm going to get a little closer by doing this. So I would work Verizon, and I was up front. Like I had to get a license, low voltage electrical license. I had to take a test. I had to read a damn book. I mean, I didn't really read.
You read a book.
Oh no. I studied the questions. I took a class to study the questions. They gave you a book, and I took the test. I passed it, and then I got the license. And then, like I said, when we're ready, the money's not there. Shit. Okay, I come up with the money. Well, then 90 days into this, I haven't made a damn penny. I'm just forking out money because the funding.
Can I ask how much money you had to come up with to start and then reinvest also? We don't have to go there if you don't want to, but I want to.
No, I don't mind. No, so I started with 15 grand that I had in 401k and saved. And what would happen is when I sold an account for Kevin in Arizona, he would get 100% of that account. So if the account was worth $1,500, he was getting that because he was established. My company was new in North Carolina. It wasn't. So they were giving us 50%. So they would give us like $750. So we were losing money till we got to 100 accounts so this is just dipping into that cash because what would happen is, and then we get the back end of it, but it may cost me $1,250. So I'm losing $500 for the first deals. I'm going to need 50 grand. I mean, you do the math, you're like, holy shit, this is a lot. You just keep adding up. It's like, we're going to lose money here. And so, arguing with the companies of, you need to pay us full. Well, no, it's a new market. You got to get up to 100, then we'll back end it. A lot of those tangibles. During all this, Kevin has his moments and things going on and kind of flakes out. And it's like, dude, all of a sudden his installers are calling me. I need a paycheck. Like, what? I have nothing to do with him. Yeah, I'm not getting paid. So I'm like having to hunt Kevin down. Like, where are you at? I'm calling him. I mean, I can't reach him. I'm like, holy shit. Finally, I get he sends me an email. So Kevin does not like confrontation, nor does he like conflict now. Like, fight or flight is what they say. Kevin flies away. And that's okay. I am like I just mentioned. Let's go, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it. I'm ready, right? Well, I'm pissed. Like, where are you at? Why are you hiding? What are you doing? I'm pissed. He's like, dude, sorry, I've got bad moments. I'm out. The clinks are done. I'm out. I need you to give me some money, keep the lights on, and I got to pay these guys and, buy the name for me. And I'm like, buy the name for me? What the hell are you talking about? Well, dude, I came up with the idea. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I said, well, dude, like, we're going back and forth. This is 05. And I go, okay. And I feel guilty because he did come up with the idea. He brought me in. Now, he didn't bring any money to the table. He kind of disappeared when we opened. I mean, there was some layers there that just didn't seem right. Kevin has never screwed anyone over on purpose. Never. He's got this nicest human being you'll ever meet. Love him. He's like my brother. But he just had some shit going on. And he wanted to get into real estate. He aspired to do real estate. It's always been his thing. So he was out. So he's like, what can you do to help? And I thought about it. I didn't have much. And so I found a way to, saving some of my paychecks as well, to give him 15 grand to shut him down. So I bought the name of the company, even though his location, my location were different companies, shut him down. He used that money to pay his guys and to pay his bills. And I didn't hear from him for almost 4 years. And during that time, I grinded for 12 months almost.
So did you take on Kevin's employees and you had some people working for you? Or you
I shut it down. I said, I'm going to give you this money. You shut it down. I'm not doing operations in Arizona. It's not the same company. Shut it down.
Why'd you have to pay for that?
It's the right thing to do. It's loyalty, right? And I mean, look, we're right now. When someone brings you in on something and they need your help, you do the right thing, right? He brought me in on an idea. It was going to help him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just money. You find a way to make it work, right? And so did that, strapped me for cash in a tight spot, still grinding and working my ass off. I had my dad running flyers for me, retired from AT&T. He's driving a crew out there putting out flyers. I had my brother running sales appointments during the day, trying to sell deals. I'm working Verizon. I'm running appointments at night. I had my neighbor putting in the security systems. I mean, this is how we built it, right? And slowly but surely it built. And then, eventually after about 10 months, I could afford to get an office because it was in my bedroom. And when we did it in the bedroom, I had this tile board, same tile board I used for this solar company early on. Very similar. You go to Home Depot and you buy the tile board you get in showers. That was our schedule board. We didn't have the compute. We didn't have all the money for everything else. So we take a dry erase and mark it out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where sales are, what the installs are, who the installers are, and we track it on a board. And then we get the accounts and the paperwork, and to go fund it, we'd have to take it off the board to know it had everything, ship it in to try to get paid. Eventually, we hit the 100 accounts, and we started getting paid full, and cash flow started to get a little easier.
But that's after a year?
No, I did that in about 4 months. 10 months in is when I decided to leave Verizon, right? So I got to a point to where the company had enough money to get an office, and I can go on a small payroll. And started to work my way up, right, to offset me leaving Verizon. And it took a while. I had to go out and sell deals myself. So I wasn't getting paid unless I sold deals. But if I went and sold deals, then I would get commission. And that's how I would offset my loss from Verizon, right? So instead of paying a sales rep, I pay myself. And if I get X amount, then, hey, I saved that, but I'm able to quit the job and I'm able to grow the company. So I wasn't paying myself as an owner. I was paying myself as a sales rep. And I go out and sell deals too. And so, and I believe in that. Like I did that in home, the solar, like you have to do as an entrepreneur, you got to wear several hats. You got to take the trash out. You got to clean the bathroom. You got to, you're doing everything. And the only way to really make money is pay the company and the people first and the vendors, and then pay yourself last. But if you can pay yourself as a grower, as a driver in the company, like instead of paying John for commission on a alarm system, I'll go sell it and I'll get paid. Okay, I'll go do that. Doesn't cost the company anything, therefore you can grow. And that's the best. I mean, that's the best advice you can go out there is if you can drive business and pay yourself what you would have paid a rep, and you can live off of that, then you're not hurting the company. The company just reinvests until you're ready. And so did that, got an office, got a little bigger, got another office, got a little bigger, and then Kenny fell in my lap. So Kenny was working for a sign company, and he was looking for a job. And I said, look, I'm building, sales teams doing this home security gig. And I could use somebody to be a van manager to find me, to take guys out in the neighborhood and drive the van and close the deal for them. And it's kind of where it started, where he joined the team. And, but I mean, it took 10 months. I could leave my job at Verizon, and I was commission only, getting paid for almost 2 years. And then I started to draw an executive paycheck. You have to do that. It's the same thing at Power Home Solar, right? I wouldn't even get anything payroll. Even the sales commission I was selling, I kept in the company on that. And I was selling deals for the first year. I was like, because the company needed every dollar it could get. I didn't pay myself anything for 18 months.
A year's fast to have that turnaround. I mean, you were 4 months, and then you were starting to turn. 10 months is when you took your leap. But like, you hear stories of like 3, 4, sometimes 5 years until businesses or entrepreneurs are like stable. Is that accurate? I mean, is it?
I think a lot of it is because they pay themselves for their lifestyle. You know how many friends, family, people I see are like, I'm opening a business. I've done well. I'm going to go do this. And they try to live the same lifestyle and pay themselves that same thing. And like you're starting something as a baby. It has nothing to give you. Think of a business, you're an entrepreneur. You planted a tree, a baby tree, like a freaking seed, right? It's not giving you, and it's a damn apple tree. You're not getting any damn apples right now. Why are you eating apples when it's not producing apples? You got to work it. You got to work it. You got to work it. And you got to let it reinvest to itself. And then you may pull the apples. Problem is people are already pulling everything off before it grows, and they fold. That's my opinion. I watch it way too many times. And I'm like, dude, listen, asshole, you can't drive around in a damn Corvette because you were an executive at IBM and you're opening this company. You're not going to make money for 2-3 years. So you can't live the same lifestyle, but their mindset doesn't, I can. And then 2-3 years, they're looking for a job. And it's unfortunate, but that's a lot of the problem.
Interesting. That's hard.
You got to take a few steps back, take many steps forward. And people don't realize that you've got to be disciplined.
Discipline. I was just going to say it. That's wild. Well, hey, look, one more question. We talked about starting up, people that are laid off, maybe just getting out of school, trying to find opportunity. We gave some examples about that. You showed us the way that you started up a while ago. What about Jayson Waller now? Same mindset, same experience, but you have maybe financial backing, a group of investors. You want to do something big. Maybe whether it's something related to solar or not, like with what we're going through right now and maybe your outlook on the future, where are you putting your money? Where are you putting your investment? Where are you putting your time?
I would say, well, I mean, obviously biased answers, renewable energy and solar, because I believe that's the future. I believe I'm part of it. I'm going to give us a bunch of things, I think, or several things. But utility companies, they're a lot of them are starting to understand they got to go renewable. It's cheaper. It's cleaner. It lasts forever. I mean, there's just so many options there. Coal and all that stuff's old school, right? You need more hydro on these lakes, and that's not going to hurt the water because it's just hydro creating the water, creating power. You need more solar and you need more wind. We just do. And when we do that, it creates a lot of jobs. It's the number one job sector 2 years in a row. And it's a clean energy and people feel good about it, whether you're Democrat, Republican, none of that matters. We all want to save money. We want clean power. It's just normal. It's what we do. But that's that sector. I still think anything to do with being remote, any kind of software, any kind of networking, like the Zooms, any kind of, I mean, that's our future. You're going to have, even us, we may have a percentage of employees that get to work from home, and we'll save money because they don't have to drive to work and we don't have to have an office for them. So we don't need the real estate. We probably won't pay them the same because they're working from home. Right. So there'll be a discount there for certain positions. A lot of companies are doing that. We had, had Kevin O'Leary on from Shark Tank, and he was mentioning, he does a ton of investments in commercial real estate. He's like, that's going to be a problem because more people are working from home. But he has a flower business that he invests in several companies, but he's a flower company that's killing it online. And he's like, these people can work from home. We don't even need an office. So there's a lot of opportunity for that. There's a lot of opportunity for games. Gaming on the phone and apps, and now this virtual reality thing we talked about, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I think the gaming industry is going to continue to boom. I'm okay with games. A lot of parents are like, I don't like my kids playing games all the time. I mean, some games are probably bad, but I played a lot of games growing up. I grew up in Arizona. It was hot as hell. You couldn't go outside except 2 months a year, right? So I played games, but I think it makes you smarter. It makes you sharper. It makes you handle different situations faster, in my opinion. I think gaming's okay. Too much of something's always bad. Inappropriate stuff is bad. But I think gaming gives you that edge. I think collaborating and talking to people in a game, online gaming, as long as it's appropriate and managed, is good. Because too many times you see kids that are too introvert to communicate. And they have a lot to offer the world and themselves, but they can't because they've been locked up and frozen. And you need social skills. I mean, our school system, I don't own a school. I wish I did, but
God, what would that look like?
I'm telling you, there's a lot of things, we don't need to learn cursive writing. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, and look, all the literature teachers out there and writing teachers, I'm sorry, but dude, everyone's on this. Everyone's on the computer, right? There's no reason. Why don't we teach people how to manage their money? Why don't we teach them how to do investments when they're in school? Why don't we teach them how to, have entrepreneurship skills? Why don't we teach them to have social skills, to communicate, to stand up, make it mandatory? They've got to go and do a pitch up top or do a presentation, because too many times you get these kids that are learning. I mean, our school system's been the same since 1700s, dude. We've got to evolve. It's cool to learn. I love history. It's cool to learn history, right? It's cool to learn all the math. A lot of this math we don't need. We got this stuff. Dude, we've got code. We've got cheat sheets and computers, man. Let's spend that time with these kids to give them real skill sets that they're going to see in life, like how to interview for a job, how to work a job, how to take care of kids, how to cook, how to clean, how to more time driving a vehicle, although that's probably going to go away because, that's a whole nother sector that's going to change. But, how to operate machinery, things that they can learn in school, even as a young person, how to talk to people, how to communicate, how to thank people, how to be thinking about managing their money, even at a young age. So when they get allowances, all of these are life skill sets that would make, in my opinion, the people more entrepreneurial, more aggressive in doing bigger things than just falling in line. And I just think some of this stuff is wasteful. And I mean, even there's some of these schools that you'll see, they'll teach kids farming. I think that's great. How to plant trees, how to raise chickens. Dude, we should have schools that have a core of English and a second language, math, up to algebra, and that's it. This is my opinion.
Right.
Okay? And history. And then you pick the school of what kind of dynamic cultured thing that this is going to offer. Well, this one's going to offer more of a, farming and, planting, anything to do with that sector. We're going to have this school over here. Then you're going to have this kind of school that talks about, in today's world, YouTube, acting, drama, music, those kind of arts here. And then because I've got 4 kids and each one of them have a completely different identity. I'd probably have them all at 4 different schools. As long as they got the core, whatever they're really good at or they love, let them learn that so they're prepared to go into the world with something they love. Same thing with college. Like, it's like, why do
Yeah.
we waste money on stuff like this? It's crazy. If I owned a school, it would be the shit. Kids would come out, I'd have more entrepreneurs than you've ever seen. These
I'm
kids
sure.
would be ballers. They would come out, they'd be taking on the world. But that's what it's about, you know, and the pressure of telling your kids they have to go to college is wrong. I mean, look, I'm guilty of that. I've told my kids that forever. I've kind of gotten off that now. I incentivize them, but it's just wrong. It's hard. We all didn't go to school in today's day where people are literally getting bullied like crazy on this and judged by that and judged by what they wear and judged by what their parents drive or how much money they do or don't have. And it is sad. Like, I remember a lot of my girls have been bullied before. And I'm like, dude, why don't you just smack her, man? Just backhand that bitch. What are you doing, right? And sorry for the French, but I get pissed off. These girls are being mean to my daughter and telling her all these things and being rude. I'm like, would you smash her head in the locker, teach her a lesson?
Oh
I'll
my
be in trouble.
God.
Hell no, you won't. Have the principal call me. I got your back. Like, that's bullshit. She shouldn't be in your face saying that stuff. Like, my wife looks at me. You can't tell your kids that. Well, I did, and I'm okay with it. So, not the best message, but none of that happens. My daughter's like, you don't understand. It's social media suicide. Like, they'll say this and they'll say that and they'll make fun of you and they'll ban you. And that stuff I don't understand. Because when I went to school, it was like, if you only get bullied if they can kick your butt. You didn't get bullied because they had more or less than you. It was popularity and kicking their butt. That was it. Those were the monsters you had to deal with. And so it's hard for me to grasp and understand what they're going through. And so I try to listen and say, okay, but I'm also a big believer of saying, if you can, you know, teach them the skill sets to socialize and to teach them, you know, like YouTube and Instagram and music and things that they want to be a part of and do it in the right way. I mean, I think that that's important. And I think that, you know, these schools are just, they waste their time and it's about money. It's not about really teaching these kids to get down there. And with college and things like that, I mean, I probably will have 2 kids that go to college and I'll probably have 2 that don't because I've got 4. And it's because they want to go to college and they want to use that degree for something.
Mhm.
And the other 2 probably won't. And I'm okay with that. I didn't go to college and I don't think you have to go to college to be great. I think you have to go to college to learn a skill set that defies what you're doing in your career. You know, if you're a doctor, you've got to learn that. You can't just go become a doctor. If you're a lawyer, you've got to learn that. But if we treated college more like a trade school, I think we would be further along as a country and with our people. That's my opinion.
I think a lot of businesses are realizing that and trying to get ahead of that. So offering a bit of a university or an academy to come in and really mold their candidates into
Such a great idea.
an expert in that business or a special field within that business. But I agree. Like, I did go to college. I was a 5-year college student, and I learned some of what my degree was. Exercise science. Obviously got into the health and fitness field for a long time, but I learned a lot more out of college. But here's what college taught me. College was great for one, living on my own, not having a lot of money and figuring out how to be disciplined with my money and figuring out like when I could party or when I had to study or when I had to, you know, certain things like that, right? Driving a beat down car and having to fix it on the side of the road. Those were the things that I learned in college. Social skills, right? There's an experience when you go away to college and you have to meet new friends and meet new and really work with teams to get things done, whatever it is you're doing in college. Like, that's what I learned from college. I just paid more than someone that didn't go to college to do it. You know,
I agree with you. I think everything that you learned there is important. And that's what, but it shouldn't cost that much.
It didn't cost that much.
Right?
It's
It
filling
should
up.
be free. It shouldn't be free. Okay. I'm taking the Bernie road here. No free college, right? But I will say that the skill sets that you learn to be on your own are important. And if we could change it, you know, they'll never get rid of college, and that's okay. But if we looked at it different as parents, as adults raising our children, and we prepped them in high school of what they want to be, then we could be selective and help them to get there. But I agree. I think there's something to be said about living on your own, having to pay your own bills, fix your own car, change your own brake pads, breaking down. How am I going to live off $35? You know, that you're not, it's either go do that and get a job or go do that and do college. Either way, you got to learn to do that. I think if you're going and you're learning something, but I think people that go to college, I used to be intimidated by people that went to college when I first opened my business. I would open a business and all these people would have degrees and they were, they spoke better than I did and they were more educated than I did. They said bigger words than I did. And I struggled because I would have to manage these folks and it was a hard thing. Like I was intimidated. I mean, for years, dude, it started here and then the anxiety went down. And over time it was like, you know what? I gotta be me, dude. I'm not going to play this noise anymore. They don't like it. Get the hell out. I'm done. This is what I'm going to do. This is how we're going to do it. I don't give a shit if you went to 12 years of college or not. You can kiss my ass. This is how we're doing it. You're either in or you're out. And after I kind of put that in my mentality to get over my own insecurities, it got better for me. But that insecurity, I mean, there was a struggle. I was intimidated. And it's because what's brainwashed in us as kids.
Yeah.
You must go to college and then you're a success. And it's like that brainwash. That's the layer I'm talking about that we all need to do a better job for our children. You're not a failure if you don't go. You need to go for the experience or to learn something you want to be a part of. But you're no different, better, worse, up, down, left, right than anybody that goes or doesn't. And it took me years to figure that out. But we all are guilty, at least society is guilty of brainwashing that you're a failure if you don't go to college. And I hate that mindset. And it put me through several years of insecurity and struggle where I could have even grown even faster had I understood that.
Yeah, I've got kids and I feel the same. If it's something that they don't want to do at that point, then so be it, especially if they're passionate and willing to get into a field that they feel strongly about and they want to do it right away. I mean, it is.
Or even the military. Like people always shy away from them. Let me tell you something. I did the military for 9 weeks. I dislocated my shoulder and I got like a no harm, no foul because I wasn't all the way at my A school. So it wasn't a medical discharge and it was a pre-existing injury and it wasn't dishonorable discharge. I literally, got hurt at the last 2 days of boot camp. And that's a whole nother podcast. Because
never heard that.
That's a damn interesting story. Being at boot camp is legit, dude. It is legit. Okay. And not that it's physically hard, it's mentally like tough. Like I've got I'll tell you a tidbit of a story. So
oh God. I got an interview in 12 minutes
about the boot camp. But when I first got there, I did the buddy program. So, I was working this job at First Union. I'm making $80,000 a year. I'm 19 or 19 years old. I'm killing it. I have that job I mentioned before in a podcast that I shouldn't have got because I had a fake ID and I said I had a degree and I'm destroying it. But I'm fighting with my wife. We're not married at the time. We're fighting over our daughter. We're not getting along. I'm heartbroken. And my buddy in Arizona, Joey Castaneda, he's in trouble in Arizona. He's got some things that he's like in trouble. So he's like, dude, let's join the military together. Well, maybe it was my idea. I don't remember. My idea, his idea. I said, come to North Carolina. We're like, let's join. Let's go be Maverick, right? And Goose together.
It was like Top Gun just had come out.
Yes. I'm like, let's do this. Well, it came out in the 80s, but it was my favorite movie. Let's do this together. So we had this vision of flying jets together. And so we go and see the recruiter. And he just graduated high school. So it's the end of 98. Or no, yeah. He just graduated high school. He's getting some trouble. And I'm like, let's do it. So we go in and the recruiter tells me, remember, I'm a sales guy, goes, well, you guys are going to come in as an E1, which is enlisted one. It's the bottom of the bottom of the bottom pay. And I will say to all the service members out there, thank you. And you deserve way more fucking pay, period. Okay. Every person in the military deserves a 50% pay increase. Everybody kiss my ass. That's how it should be. We should use money instead of other bullshit and pay our military more because they're underpaid. Because I took a monster pay cut. I went from $80,000 a year to like 17, right? But I wasn't looking at it that way. Mad at my girl. I've got a daughter. I'm going to fly fighter jets. I'm going to be close enough to see my baby. I'm going to take on the world, right? Be a pilot. I get to the recruiter and he goes, look, if you can recruit 5 people, you'll be an 3 people, you'll be an E2, 5 people, you'll be an E3. I recruited like there was nobody's business. I went in as an E3. So I'm at like 25 grand instead of like 16, right? I'm like, hey, it's better. So we go in, we take the test and, and we strike for a job. Now, one of the things that I was promised from the recruiter, and this is where those guys are wrong. And this is, I hate that they do that, is they said, look, You didn't go. I'm like, I didn't go to college, but I want to fly jets. Oh, dude, you're in for 2 years. You can go to the officer program. And then 2 years after that, you can be a pilot. So I'm like, all right. So I do my first tour for 4 years. I can be a pilot. This is the shit. Like, I could be flying jets. I could be flying for Delta. I mean, game on, baby. Right? Let's do it. So we get into boot camp, and day one, we show up. We have to stay at MEPS in Charlotte, get up in the morning, get on a plane, stop in St. Louis, get to Chicago. I mean, been up like 20 hours, exhausted, dead dog tired. Mm-hmm. And I've got the blonde hair I've got now I had back then. Like, I'm 19 years old. I got M&M hair. And I show up to boot camp, and we're tired, and comes out this mean-ass petty officer. It looks like Popeye. Comes screaming. He's in our face. Hey, recruit, blah, 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 blah. Like a chihuahua. I am tired as hell. We've been up 20 hours. Me and my boy Joey are just exhausted. We're in the buddy program. We're in there together, and we're just beat. And he's screaming and yelling, and I'm laughing. Like, I can't even take this shit seriously. I'm deliriously tired, and I'm laughing like it's a movie. Like, this isn't real. Like, really? And he's like in my face. I'm like, okay. So then we get in line to go to the head or the bathroom, right? And we're in line, and they have a thing in boot camp called ASMO. And ASMO means, you know, if we all go in together, we're Division 100. And the next one that comes in a week later is Division 101. And the one a week later is Division 102. So they can keep you in boot camp and ASMO you. So if you've got 10 weeks of boot camp to finish, if you get in trouble or they choose to ASMO, you can go back a week and join another division, and now you're there 11 weeks. You can go back 3. So people that get in trouble, you're just there in boot camp. So we met guys that have been in here for like 3 damn months. Like, what the hell are you doing? I keep getting in trouble. I'm like, okay. So we're in line to get our materials. We're in the bathroom line. And there's this tall guy in front of me, and we're going to have to share all of this for the next podcast, and we'll have to regurgitate some of this. But there's this tall guy in front of me. It's like 6'3", and he's giggling about something. And that short 5'2", Popeye-looking chief petty officer is in his face screaming, "You listen here, Lurch. I'll kick your ass. You're going to do this." I am rolling. I'm laughing. I'm like, "Lurch, my Lurch. That's great." He goes, "What are you talking about, Goldilocks?" I'm talking to you. We're going to cut that shit off your head. And he's yelling at me, and I'm laughing. I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Your ass. Go over there and swab that." I'm like, "What swab?" "Grab the damn up." And he's in my face like a damn chihuahua. And I'm like, okay. And I'm grabbing him up and I'm mopping. Well, my division kept going, and they were going to get socks and gear and bedding, and, you know, we're still up. It's 24 hours we've been up now. I mean, dead tired. They're doing this shit on purpose. And we got to go get all our shit, socks, boots, everything, get tried on for it, and our haircut before we can even march in that 1.5 miles and go to bed in the barracks. We just got there. I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? They should have put us up in a Sheraton or a bed or something. What are they doing? They get about 2 divisions ahead of me. And there's usually 4 divisions in a week or 3 divisions in a week. And now I get done, and I'm in a different division. I'm in a buddy program. Like, this ain't going to work. So I have to sneak when they're getting their boots and their socks and their underwear and their shirts and their camo. I sneak, dude, all the way back to my division so I can be in that division. And to be continued on the next podcast, we'll finish the story about boot camp and why military people should be paid more.
Had no idea you were in the military.
It was only like 9.5 weeks. All right. So, hey, you can check out our podcast at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. You can check out our badass YouTube channel at True Underdog, or just visit the website, trueunderdog.com. Thanks for listening. True Underdog Podcast and YouTube. Bam!
Bam. True Underdog. Bam. Unleash the power within. Bam.
Building a movement, baby.